Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the WIT Sri Lanka Upskill Workshop Series. I'm Anudhi Linara, Ambassador of WIT Sri Lanka, your host for today's workshop. We are delighted to have you here as we embark on this exciting journey of learning and discovery. Our workshop series promises to be a valuable learning experience, and we have a fantastic guest speaker lined up to share her insights on getting started with the first session on this series on Microsoft Power BI. Before we dive into today's workshop, let me give you a brief overview of what WITS is. WITS is an organization with the aim to empower women to reach their full potential in the field of data science. We elevate and celebrate the outstanding work of women on a global scale, fostering respect, collaboration, connection, and visibility. The WITS community creates access to programs, contents, and resources that inspire, educate, and support so that vibrant voices and ideas can be shared with the world. Now, the WIT Sri Lanka Upscale Workshop Series 2024 is an independent event organized by WIT Sri Lankan ambassadors to coincide with the annual Women in Data Science Worldwide Conference held at Stanford University and an estimated 200 plus locations worldwide. This workshop series aims to inspire and educate data scientists and aspiring data scientists worldwide. They are led by female instructors and are available to all. We aim to focus on building technical and professional skills needed in the field of data science through these workshops. Now, let me introduce you all for the Upscale Workshop Series theme for the month of June. Power Trio: Analyze, Streamline, and Automate. The Power Trio Workshop Series explores the three primary components of Microsoft Power Platform: Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate. The objective of this workshop series is to advance data management, application development, and business process automation by equipping participants with the knowledge and abilities needed to effectively utilize these potent technologies. This session, which focuses on the practical hands-on learning, provides attendees with the capacity to generate meaningful data visualizations, construct customized apps, and automate operations, navigating creativity and efficiency within their businesses. Without further ado, let me introduce our speaker, Ms. Shavindri Rathnayake, currently excels as a business intelligence analyst at Axiata Digital Labs. She is an esteemed professional and showcases a remarkable ascent through various roles in the field of business intelligence and data science. We are honored to have Ms. Shavindri Rathnayake here with us today to share her knowledge and insights on bridging the basics to advanced analytics with Microsoft Power BI. Please welcome Ms. Shavindri Rathnayake. Ms. Shavindri, the virtual floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, Lina. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, let me start this. Okay, so I want to first of all tell that before we move to dashboarding, I want to introduce a little bit about the business intelligence and certain parts about business intelligence, such as business intelligence maturity model, because I think it's better to know some of the theory before moving to dashboarding. So yeah, in the first session, so we'll start with some introduction and BI in data analytics spectrum. So where the data analysts and BI engineers and ML engineers are placed in the data analytics spectrum. And then we will go for the BI maturity model. So this is the framework that's being used for benchmarking. And we will then move to So BI functionalities and concept of BI maturity. So this BI maturity model is what's been used by the organizations to assess their current capabilities in the industry, and if they need any like ideas for growth and the improvements, this BI maturity model is used. So then we will move to Power BI, and in Power BI we will talk about data transformation, data modeling, and data visualization, and any additional tips or best practices that's been used in dashboarding. So so let me talk to you about business intelligence. So business intelligence is about technologies, applications, and practices that's been used for collection, integration, and analysis. So when you want to present some business information, we use business intelligence. And this is best for better decision making. So the process is we collect data from different databases, spreadsheets, or any cloud services. You must have heard of AWS and Azure, and we combine them for a unified view. So, and then we use tools such as like analytical tools to explore and interpret this data. So analytical tools are mostly Excel, R, SPSS, Python. But then the last step is we have to visualize this data through a dashboard or a report or a graph or whatever it is. So this is basically business intelligence. So this is the spectrum of data analytics, and here we have data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, and ML engineers. So data analysts are mainly responsible for interpreting data and turn them into actionable insights. And they are the ones who use BI tools such as Power BI because they have to create reports and dashboards. And then we have data scientists in the spectrum. They are using advanced statistical and machine learning tools because they have to analyze and interpret complex data sets. So they would use things like machine learning models and predictive models or algorithms because they have to solve the business problems. So this is far away from the business side and more into the technical side. And then further moving into the technical side, data engineers, they are the ones maintaining the infrastructure, and they are the ones supporting the data collection, storage. So they should have strong SQL and database management skills. And we have machine learning engineers. So they have programming skills mostly, and they should have knowledge of various machine learning algorithms. So now let's see where BI is playing a central role in this spectrum. So in order for a Power BI platform like Power BI, so they are the ones, these platforms, Power BI or Tableau, they usually serve as a bridge between the raw data and this insight. So in order for a successful BI implementation, there has to be a collaboration between these roles. Data analysts or data engineers, they have to communicate very well, and because these skills that they have, they're usually very unique and they're experts in their area. So that's why BI is important. Then moving into the next session, it's the BI maturity model. So I won't take much time in theory session. This is a few slides because I think it's better to lay the groundwork before moving into the dashboards directly. So this BI maturity model is, so this is actually implemented by Gartner. So this is about the organizations. They should know how to assess their current level of business intelligence capabilities. So it's actually like a KPI setting. So they can gauge where they are in the industry. So or they can identify what steps they have to take to grow their BI capabilities, because they can get a better competitive edge. Then, so these are the 5 steps in the BI maturity model. So stages 1 to 3 and 4 to 5 are separated. So the first step is unaware stage. So this BI maturity model is mainly, it's not a very complicated thing. It's about like a company. If you are a company where you are considering BI aspects, right? So if are you like an advanced BI related, like, are you using advanced BI tools in your company, or you are just still in the beginning stage? So this first stage is the unaware stage. So this is like BI analytics. Like every company has some level of BI analytics. So if you go to some kind of a company, they at least have an Excel database in them. I'm talking about a modern company. And so in the unaware stage, this BI analytics, they are occurring in a very like ad hoc basis, and they don't have a very like a formal decision making in their company. So usually like managers or executives, they have to like, they don't even have a central person in their company. They have to maybe ask from each other about how profits are, how the profits in the company are increasing. They don't have a system, so they have to like scramble to provide it with many like operational applications. And yeah, they might not have any BI tools. They might be still using Excel or paperwork. And in the second stage, the tactical stage, now in this one, usually like, yeah, business units, they have like every BI analytics projects are optimized. Like some of the analytics projects are optimized. They would have certain level of BI tools being used. They definitely should have Excel or some kind of like a system, like where they share the information within each other. So like organizations, they have the basic reporting tools. So might not be something like SQL or Power BI, but definitely some level of Excel. And they use this Excel or PowerPoint at least to show their basic reporting and visualization. And then the third level is the focus stage. So at this level, like the processors and the technologies are coordinated, and BI practices are now sophisticated. So most like these middle level IT companies are usually in this category. So BI practices are sophisticated, and they have the advanced reporting. They could be using tools like Power BI. So they would have a team of data analysts, and maybe not a centralized team, but definitely a team of data analysts. Or maybe in each department, like in marketing or finance, they would have data analysts. Then in the fourth stage is a strategic stage. So in this one, now the company has a specific BI team, right? So the top executives, now they like, I mean, the CEO, the CFO, they're sponsoring this BI team. That means they have a specific BI team, and this BI team is getting paid to do the BI related work, right? So usually, like they would do stuff like predictive analytics, and because the company already has a historic database, and yeah, they would be using like machine learning, predictive modeling, because now they want to see the future. So they are more interested in looking the forward insight. And in the fifth stage, now this is like the company is 100% dependent on the BI team. BI team, or like that BI systems that they have. They would have all automated BI systems, because all the departments are getting the information in real time. Like they would have like something like huge dashboard or some method that they can all see the profits, or not the confidential data, but like the level, the progress of the company, they would be able to see this on real time, because the CEO is now sponsoring this whole BI analytics department. And some maybe they would have a role like chief analytics officer or chief data officer at this stage, because now BI is like the company is 100% dependent on BI, right? Okay. So I hope that's a very simple model, just a 5-step stage model. And moving on to the next step. Now, I just wanted to add this slide to add this like term called BI dissemination. So this is the term. So BI dissemination means like at like what kind of how much BI is dispersed in the company. So if I move to the previous slide, so unaware stage to pervasive stage, this BI is being disseminated. So now for this, I just added this chart because for any company to move from unaware to pervasive stage, they need like skilled professionals and leadership commitment, and they should have investment in technology. So whatever it is, even if it's a dashboard or a paid tool, especially tools like Tableau, which has a lot of visualization capabilities, companies need to invest in these tools. And collaboration and communication methodology for assessing the performance. So yeah, just adding that ad hoc to streamlined PI needs to be disseminated. Then, yeah, before we move to dashboarding, now these are the steps that I'll cover in the dashboarding sector. Just want to show about creating visualizations. So now in this visualization, you can see that it is it is just an Excel table which has country name and the year, right? So whenever time, now this is like on 1990 and then 2000, 2011. So for each country, this actually the data is not shown. It's supposed to be the GDP of each country in each year, right? So this is a huge data set. If you have it from 1990 to 2020, it's a very wide data set. So now, yeah, so you can't show any visualization like this. So if you want to visualize a table like this, there are some options that you can follow. So the first option is, because it's a time related chart, because the year was there, the first thing that comes to your mind is a trend graph, because time is there, time or year, right? So, but this chart is a bit cluttered. So as you can see, the GDP trend, it's very difficult for anyone to identify where Australia or where China is, right? And the colors are also very cluttered. So the second option that you can use is this kind of a chart. Again, this is a time series chart, but the difference is you have only selected top 10 countries with the top 10 GDP values. So this is good, but then like you don't know what the audience wants. Maybe the audience might want to view another country, right? It might not be on the top 10 list. So you want to show them all the data, but then how can you show it? So third option I created is this kind of a moving chart. So in this moving chart, this can be done in Power BI very easily. And this is an interactive visual. So you give the power or the independence to the user who is viewing your dashboard. You are creating the dashboard and someone else could be viewing it. You are giving the user the independence to select the year, to select the country that they want to view the GDP, right? So let's see how we can create such a visual in Power BI. Give me a minute, I'll share my entire screen. Hello, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So I hope you have downloaded the data set that I sent. So I'm not going to explain, like I won't be able to explain 100% about Power BI today, but I will focus a lot on the visualization aspects and not mainly on the data connection parts, because I'll be using only Excel or CSV files, mostly Excel or CSV. And because now Power BI, you can connect a lot of data sources, right? SQL Server, Azure, Google Analytics, and yeah. So importing data is a basic thing that you have to learn. So it's from you have to go to get data and use Excel workbook or text analysis. So you can go for more options, and you will be able to see other things that you can use, right? Online services like Google Analytics are also in here. See, so yeah. So these are the areas that I'll cover. So these are my data sets, as you can see in the data pane. So I'll just explain a little bit about this interface. So this is called the visualization pane, and this is the data pane, and this is the filters pane, right? So you can use these filters for your selected visual, or you can use it for the entire page or all pages. And this visualization pane is mainly if you have created some kind of a chart, then you can customize and visualize your charts using this visualization pane. And the data pane, you can see your the data sets, right? The tables or data sets that you create. Now this is a table. You create the table by going to enter data. And then the data sets that you have imported. So then we have the report view, the data view, and the model view. So in the report view, you're just designing your visuals, and this is like your primary workspace, right? And then you have the data view. Now, if you want to like see the table view of your data set, now this is the sort order table, and this is the country data set. You can go here, and like number of errors that occur in your Power BI could be because of your data type. So you can go to the table data view and then select the column and check if the data type is correct. So if you are trying to get like a sum or something, you can't have it in the text format, right? You have to have it in the whole number or decimal format, at least some kind of a number format. And you have the model view. So this is where you're creating the relationships between your data tables. Let's say you have like similar columns, column names, or similar data in each table, then Power BI could automatically create relationships. Now in this one, country data set. So this has the country region, right? Now I didn't connect this orders one data set to this country data set. They have already automatically created, because this orders one also has this uh, country field. These are called fields, right? Not columns. So orders one also has fields. Okay, now let's see how we can create this kind of a chart, Power BI. So this is a scatter plot, right? A simple scatter plot. So I use this visualization. Now before moving this, I just also want to say, now these are the visualizations shown in Power BI. But now you have Power Apps and Power Automate also here, which will be discussed in the next session. But if you want to get more visuals, because if you have a certain visualization in your mind, then you can go to get more visuals and get the chart that's in your mind. Just type it and see if it's there. It might not be there, but be there as well. Just, and another thing is about DAX. So if you're already using Power BI, you should know about DAX. So DAX is like the formula language that's being used in Power BI. So these are the types of charts available. Now this radar chart is a very very rarely used chart, but a good chart to show a visualization. But, so DAX is the formula language that's being used in Power BI. So most people are thinking that because DAX writing is difficult, Power BI is difficult, but Power BI should be considered as a visualization tool, and like whoever that's viewing the dashboard should be easily able to refresh the data and just change the data set and see the visualization. And query language shouldn't be like thought of as a hassle with Power BI. And another important thing is about publishing reports. So this is where you can publish reports. So I have two options here. One is workspaces and the other one is publishing BI dashboard. So workspaces means now this is this is through our BI team in my company, that only when I want to share something to my team members. But I publish it in this BI dashboards when I want to share it with someone other than my team. So those are the two options. So once your report is being, and you also have all the access levels. So I won't be able to move to that because it's a bit confidential. I'm using my office email. So you can use this to publish your data in a Power BI service environment, right? That's what it is. And let's create this scatter plot. So I selected this visual. Okay, so to create this visualization, now as you can see, this is a moving chart. Like you can play this axis and it's going to show that show the fertility rate and the life expectancy. Now these are the countries I have selected, and this one, the sizes of these circles are because of the population of each country. So mainly the x-axis and the y-axis are fertility rate and life expectancy. And then I have added the year also because I want to, like if I want to view only 2002, then I can just pause it and check where it is. So yeah, when we are creating this, we can use the, I have used the population data set because it has fertility rate like that. So the summation mark comes because it is a numeric value when you can sum it up. So for this one, I have to use as the x-axis is the fertility rate, y-axis is the life expectancy. Then the legend is the, legend means like the color, right? If not, all these circles are going to come in one color. So you have to separate it. So I have added country, like the region as the color. And then for the size is the population. Then play axis is the year. This is the axis that's going to get played. Right now, this chart only shows like a small number of circles because I had added filters. I can do the same here using this. Just add some like 3 or 4 countries. So you can just play it now. It's very simple. And if you want to remove all this like cluttering here, you can name this as the legend. You can name it as country, like this. And then y-axis, you can rename it as this, and then it's like this. This is the exact same figure that I drew. And if you want to make some kind of like a background color or something, you can go to this and just search for it. Now in this one, to go to effects. Now I don't have any background in this. If I want, I can just add dash or whatever it is. And now as you can see, this curve, like these borders are in curve shape. So you can go to the visual border and turn it on, and then round the corners, right? For that, like this level, you can do it, right? So that is basically creating this chart. So another thing is adding these slices. So these slices are like elements that you give the user another, like an interactive, it's like an interactive visual, right? You give the user the chance to filter out what they want to view. So you are not just showing something like an Excel dashboard. You can just only show whatever you want, right? So I have added filters here. That's why I only show few areas. So it's better if you can add slices into all the visuals. Okay, let me move into the next part. Okay, so this is a revenue dashboard that I created. So this one is for this one, I use these two data sets, orders one and orders two. So I think it's better to weave these data sets before moving into this. So this has like the customer details, the areas like the region, country, product details, and the profit revenue details. So basically all the sales related details are in this. And orders one and orders two, I have two different sheets because orders one is from month one, orders two is from month two. So orders one, yeah. So I have added these arrows because I want to analyze what kind of a change it is from month one to month two. So like if I filter only African region, if I leave only African region, yeah, it shows the arrows change, right? So it's changing using this percentage change. So yeah, there's a reduction in change in revenue, and that's why the arrow is in red color. So if I only, now this is only for Africa, no? So if I select all, if I select all, then it's showing a negative 0.39% of revenue change, right? And then profit change is also shown like this. It's a green arrow. So I'll explain how we can create this entire dashboard today. So one thing is, no, this is a revenue card, right? We call this card visuals. So you can get it from this card, this one, this visual, card visual. This is a very important visual when you're creating a dashboard, card visual. And orders one and orders two. Now I have used orders two data to show like in a big view because that's the current month data. So I have here the sales. Let's see. This is the revenue, right? Sum of sales. But I don't recommend using directly from the fields, right? It's better to always create measure. So because then you can use the dashboard for a long time, right? It's very sustainable creating new measures because you never know the field names could change and right, the data table things can change. But when you create a measure, that's a constant thing. And so I have created here a measure called revenue 2, right? As you can see, revenue 2 is for the calculate the total revenue. So how you create it is you go to new measure. You go to new measure and then you create I'll name it as current revenue. Use the calculate function sum because it's a revenue value. You have to use sum, not count. And I have to use sales, right? So sales. That's all I have put. Now that's the current revenue that I created. It's the same value. So it's better to, rather than using the field value, better to create a new measure. So I'll just delete it. So many measures are there. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's this formula called percentage change. In the same way, I have used the same formula for profit and profit margin also. So for profit margin, what I did was you have to divide it by profit. You have to divide the profit by revenue, right? So that's profit margin, and then there's total quantity. Again, the same way, I created a measure called quantity. Get the sum. You can use calculate also, but sum of the quantity, the orders too. Then I created this percentage change. Percentage change is like when you're moving from month 1 to month 2, what kind of a change it is. So the thing is, when you upload two very similar data sets, like with the same fields into Power BI, they automatically create connections. So you have no issues with that. But if your data set doesn't have similar fields, right, then you'll have to manually create a connection. So I'll explain about data relationships in the next part, but in this data set, Power BI automatically created the relationship. So in percentage change 1, you have revenue 2 minus revenue 1 divided by revenue 1. Revenue 2 is revenue from the previous month, current month. Okay? Revenue 1 is from the previous month, right? And the percentage change. So into this card visual, this is also card visual. I just haven't had any background color to these visuals. Yeah. Okay, so that is about that. Now I'll explain about creating this arrow visual. Right? So this is a very simple procedure, but there's a process that we have to follow. So since I have shared my entire screen, the first step is you have to go to a PowerPoint or Word document or whatever. You have to create this shape, right? Arrow shape. Now this is a down arrow. I'll fill it with red color. And I have to save it as a PNG. Down arrow. I'm saving it as a down arrow. And then the same way I'm creating the up arrow in let's put blue color. And I'm saving it as a up arrow. Right. In the same way, I have to create a blank image, right? Because if it's not up or down, it shouldn't show any arrow, right? So I'm going to put it as no fill. Right? No, it's not a pic, like it's very invisible. So saving this also as blank image. Then what you do is you have to go to this site called uh, base64 converter. I use the second option, base64 Guru converter. So I go there and then since I have a PNG format, right? I have to convert this to a text format because I want it to change when when there's a percentage change. So I'm using this option called image to base64. Then I'm choosing the down arrow. Then I'm encoding this and I'm copying it. And then I go to my Power BI. Now I copied the down arrow image URL, right? Then I have to go to orders to and create a new measure called down arrow. This one, that's a small thing that you have to type. And then I paste my URL here. And in the same way, I have to do it for the up arrow as well. It's a big, like a URL, like thing that comes PNG base 64. This has to be up arrow and down arrow are both there, and then now it's the blank image. This is the blank image, so let's just keep it like this. And now what I have is the down arrow and the up arrow in one URL. And then next step is you have to get this visual called image probe by Cloud Scope. It's not usually available in the visualizations. You have to go to get more visuals and get this visualization called image pro by Cloud Scope, right? So that is also there. And now I have my two arrows and the blank image. Now I have to connect this to the percentage change, right? I have to create a measure to connect these three images into this. So then I have to go to new measure. I hope it's very understood. So what I want is this arrow to move when the percentage is changing. So this is a very important visualization. If you are showing like improvements or any growths or any some kind of a change from a previous month, which is usually there to do for a data analyst. So the arrow figure is very eye-catching if you can just create it. So I'm going to do this for the quantity. So this fourth green arrow is currently there. So I want to recreate this fourth green arrow, right? So for quantity arrow 1, I'm going to put if the percentage change, the percentage change in quantity is greater than 0, I want it to be the up arrow. And if percentage change is less than 0, then I want it to be the down arrow. And this down arrow 1 is the one that I just now created, right? I'm recreating the ones. And then if it is not either of these two, I want it to be the blank image. I copy this URL and I paste it. So you have to always put asterisks. Okay, so let's say you downloaded this image pro by CloudScope 2.2.0.0. Then now what I have to do is I have to put this new arrow figure, the quantity arrow, right? Quantity arrow that I created. So this is the blue arrow, right? So instead of putting green, I put blue. So it came as blue. So let's see if this arrow changes, this also changes, right? It has to happen like that. Yeah, it's happening. So when this is red, this is also red. This means we put the measures correctly. You can do this for profit margin, profit, or any kind of a figure to have a change, percentage change. You can put it like that. So I'll just delete this. Yeah, and then I have added the map here also. So if you have like country-wise visuals or regions, then it's always good to have a map. field map, because then it's very eye-catching. These are again best practices you can use. And you want to filter out products. Again, slices are also very important in all visuals. So if you can just put somewhere the slices, because then users, you give the chance, right, to filter what they want to view. The next feature I want to show is the drill through feature. So this is again a very easy feature. So this is about like whenever you show a visualization, whenever you show a chart, your manager would be like, what are the details behind that? Like what, like if you show a profit figure, what are the countries affecting this profit? So the details behind these visuals, you can get it easily from Power BI, unlike Excel. So if you show a PowerPoint presentation, you have to tell like, get back to you and then show the Excel numbers also. So in Power BI, it's not like that. So you have, now as you can see here, when you click here, sorry, you click here, has this feature called drill through feature. So behind this 235K profit revenue, when I go to drill through, I get the details. I get all the countries that's giving me this profit, right? So if I select only Australia and Canada, right? This is the 15K revenue. So I go to drill through feature and I see the details. I see the country flags affecting this and their monthly revenue figures also, I get it. So this is like a store details page, right? This is also very easy to create. How we start this is, now you already have created the visualization. You have to create a new page saying the, like the data table, let's say. Behind this revenue figure, I want to add the countries and the products affecting this, like giving me this revenue, right? Then I add the country, the revenue, profit. But let's say these figures, what I want to be like, this has to be like a rough sheet, right? Doesn't have to be very pretty, because this is only being shown if your manager or your supervisor says you want to weave the details behind the visualization. So in this case, you go to this drill through option, right? And then you add all the fields that you want to connect it to. Now I want to connect it to profit, and it's always better to add all the possible things. So like quantity, revenue, right? Then you can see this small arrow is there. That means the drill through feature is activated. So then you go to this one, and then you right click it. You can see this. So the key point is this revenue, total profit, whatever it is, same card, like this field that's been used in the card visual, you have to put it in here, in the drill through feature, right? That's why I'm telling it's better to put all the fields in here, because then you won't miss any. Total profit, profit margin, and just put drill through and view the details, right? So I hope that's understood. So if you guys have any doubts until this section, hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, does anyone have doubts until this section? I hope not. Okay, that's up to that. So now I'll show how we can add these country flags. I have added these country flags. So this is also like through a new visual that I found out, enlighten word flag. So that's very easy. Just put the uh, put the visualization and put the country. That's all. Then yeah, the next one is I want to explain about top N filtering. So top N filtering and the decks that we can write for that. So we can always use the filters panel, but in some cases it's better to create a DAX and create new measures. So now in this first case, um, I have the country and their profits and their total quantities. So now I only have selected top 10 countries with their top 10 profits. So how can I do that is like I've already added the filter. So if I don't add this filter, yeah. So if I don't add this filter, so when you just create a normal table, it's going to show all the data, right? So you can always go to top N filtering and then show here top 10 or 5 or whatever you want. And you want to sort it using profit, then you have to add the profit to this, right? Then don't just put enter, but you have to apply the filter. That is that. So that is very simple, but you can use this kind of a visualization when you are weaving a customer detail, like a very individual detail. Why? Because now in this data set, you can see that like there are many. Oh, this is very visible. So you can see in this data set that the customer name is there, right? But the count of customers is 14. So it could be the same person, but let's see. No, these are not the same people. So this Anna Andreadi person is from like there are Anna Andreadis from different countries. So this is not the same person. Look, let's say you want to view the profit of that certain like one person. Like who is the customer giving us the most revenue? Customer giving us the most profit. So who are the less profiting customers for us? Who are less value adding customers or whatever? Then you can't use this top 10 filtering, right? That is not giving you the best view. But you can always, no, this is not the same person. In this one also, you can see John Houston's these are different zones from different countries, right? Different cities. So what I do is I create a measure called maximum profit. So now let's say if I remove this and add the profit, then it's showing me 268.11. This is the total profit of all annas in all countries. So this is a very inaccurate data point. So instead of putting profit, it's better to put the maximum profit. So I created a measure called maximum profit, right? I want the maximum profit from that field. Then I'm putting that one here. Then I can see that ANA entities are there from Argentina, Austria, but the maximum profit giving ANA is from Indonesia, right? And only her profit is shown in the front. Other profits are not shown. So that's how it has to be used. So in the same way, if you want to view the loss-making customers, you can show it like that, minimum profit, right? So you can't use the top pen. You can use the top pen filtering, but you can use it. But then you have to do some adjustments. As I said, you have to create some measure, maximum profit. Now in this case, I have different countries and different products. Now I want to see the profit from each country, but also the profit of top 10 products from each country, right? Now in that kind of a problem, what I can do is, for this I have to write a measure. So I have to go to new measures, and you can do this using filtering option. You have to write a measure for this. So top 10 products. So I want to see the country and the profit from each country and the profit of the top 10 products from that country, right? So this is like a subset of this one, of the profit. So putting calculate function, revenue 2, which is what I'm currently using, then top n function, right? Then like if you want to see only top 10 products, then you can use 10. But then if you want to see 5 only, you can put 5. Then I put orders to orders to, which is my table name. Table means this, right? So in Power BI, when you import an Excel sheet and then when you refer it, you call it table, right? Because in Excel, you can't put the entire Excel sheet, but Excel file, but you have to put it sheet wise, so that certain sheet is called a table in this Power BI. You have to go to this and then orders to. Now I want the top 10. Yeah, I can't find it. I want the profit, right? The profit, the top 10 products. Then I have to find the orders to product name, right? Then show me in the descending order, right? So if I break this down, I put calculate function and the top 10 function only, and then I want to calculate the profit of the top 10 products, right? In the table orders to, and using the product name this, right? The descending order has to be from this. So let's so that is how I created this measure, top 10 products, right? So this is the same thing that I created earlier. So if I just view this, now I have gained actually the revenue in this. I put the profit. Because these are the top 10 products giving me the highest revenue. Now it is correct. Now it is the profit. So 107.67 from Zimbabwe, that's my total profit. But the top 10 products give me 87.67. So that is basically like 90% of the entire profit, right? So in this way, you can just identify what are products that are giving you no revenue. And you can just remove them from your database. And this one now, this is a tree map that I put. So this is also a very important visual. If you want to view, like, map is okay. Using this kind of a map is always easy. But then you don't know where, sometimes the manager might not know where the country is, right? So you can use a tree map and it shows where New Zealand, Iran, Turkey, like that. You can just check the countries. This is again very similar to this slicer, right? If you don't want to put a slicer, you can put a fancy tree map. Okay. So that is about the filtering part. I hope I covered all these areas. The next one is a sentiment analysis that I did. So a sentiment analysis is like, when the customers or if the like some product users, if you want to see their reactions, their views about a certain product, like comments, reactions or likes, dislikes about a certain product, you do the sentiment analysis, basically to get the customer's opinion. So now in this case, I have done this sentiment analysis to analyze some comments in Facebook. So in this one, I only wrote one DAX in this visual actually. So that is now the data set that I got was a very raw data set. I'll show you the data set. This is the data set. So I have here the ID, the link, the type, countries, whatever it is, and then these are again negative feedbacks. So this is a very huge and very raw data set, right? So this column is the one that I created because I couldn't just show the sentiment score. I want to show the sentiment score to the let's say a client, right, about their product. Like the client is marketing some kind of a product and I want to show the sentiment score of their customers. So now sentiment score is ranging from 0.25 to 1, right? These are two decimal places. So I can't just create a pie chart for this, right? It's not going to be very fancy looking. And that's why I created this range calculation. So I broke the sentiment score into 3 parts. 0 to 0.5 and then 0.5 to 0.75, then 0.75 to 1. So now I have created this already. So I'll just put this in the chat because this is like range calculation is very commonly used. Then so what I did was all three of my charts are now depending on this range. So range means now see if you can see here 0.75 to 1. So instead of putting this range here, if I put the decimal place just like that, then I won't be able to get a good visual. See, it's not the best visual possible. So that's why I created this range calculation. So this one also, if I put it like this, it's not going to be very pretty. So that's why I added the legend as range. So in creating this one, I have the legend here, count of ID, countries, sentiment scores also broken down. So if I want to only select photos and status, I can filter it. If I want only Bangladesh, I can filter it. So that's how I can create it. And the colors also, it's better if you can just select very pleasing colors, like soft colors mostly. If you are creating it depends actually. If you are creating a dashboard for a product with a dark color code or something, then it's good to always put a dark background. But other than that, it's better to always select eye pleasing colors. And last one is creating relationships. So in this one, I'll just show, no, I created this HR dashboard using an HR dataset. So in this HR dataset, the employee details are there. The resource disciplines. So resource discipline is like whether they are coming from business analysis, data science, or software engineering. So then the join date, the last working date, whether they're in-source or outsource, right? So these data are there. So now what I want to do was I want to check the now this is an HR dashboard. So I have want to check the allocations of these employees. I want to see whether these employees are all allocated properly and who are the employees that are mostly working in the company. So this kind of a data. So usually now these are usually job categories. So these are what we call as job categories. So for those who don't know, job category is like when you're moving up the ladder, it moves from intern, trainee, and then engineer, associate engineer, engineer, senior engineer, like that. So in this case, I think vice president is senior principal architect is the top level. This is a very common job category hierarchy in IT industry. So now when you are creating this kind of a visualization, this is called pyramid chart. So funnel chart, funnel or pyramid. So how you are creating it is now So when I am just creating this kind of a chart, I had put values here and then put it like so in some places. Right. So now as you can see, this looks very correct when you look at it at the first time. So this is, however, not the best chart to create. So in this one, as I said earlier, you have a certain hierarchy, right? Moving from trainee to sorry, intern, trainee, associate to this, principal architect level, right? But this chart, this is like sorted based on the counts. So you have the trainee, and then next is executive principal architect, and then on the top you have the engineer, because usually engineers are the like most common job role in IT companies. So this is, however, not correct, because you want to, let's say, sort this data using the hierarchy, then you can't do it like this, because when you try to sort the axis by resource category, it sorts using the alphabetical order, right? A to T. So how you can do this is by creating relationships. So this one, say, have to like, the HR data set is there. I want to tell Power BI that this is the order that you have to do it, right? So what I do is I create a new table. Go to enter data and create a new table. So you have to start with intern, uh, trainee, associate engineer, associate lead, like this. You have to create a table, right? And then you have to put like numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 14 categories as I remember. Architect is there, senior architect. Then we have executive principal architect. So this is like the job rank, right? By the way, when you are creating this table, you have to be very careful with the spellings, because now you are creating a relationship, right? And all the column details have to be accurately matched with the other table also. So the spellings have to be very accurate. Associate engineer, architect, principal architect. Senior principal architect, executive principal. So you are trying to now sort this pyramid or the funnel based on the correct hierarchy, right? You want it to go from intern to senior principal architect because that's the top level. So now I'm going to sort this table, load this table. Then now it's already created. Now I have to go to data modeling view. Then my HR data table is there. I have my sort order table and sorting is also there. They have already created this relationship for me. This is because all this data has the exact same data as this table, right? So this is what happens when you create a table like now in this HR data set. Uh, they also have this data, this job category, this column, resource category, right? Engineer, senior engineer, all this data should be there, right? And there, even if it's a blank or a different spelling, it's going to affect this relationship, right? This relationship creating Power BI does it automatically if you have already created it correctly. So now if you just go to this link and click properties. Now for this table, sort order table to sorting table, it's a one-to-one relationship. Why? Because both tables are exactly same. So this also has 14 rows. This also has 14 rows, right? This is like same thing. It's like a duplicate. So Power BI thinks that I want to use the new one, and they already created the link for me. So one-to-one relationship, right? So there shouldn't be any duplicates when it's a one-to-one relationship. So let's say this one has two interns, this one has only one intern, like two rows, right? Two intern rows and one intern row, then Power BI won't create the relationship. So when you view this one, this is a many to one relationship. Why? Because this HR dataset, they have a lot of engineers in this dataset, like multiple rows of engineer, right? And the senior engineer also multiple rows. But this one, the sort order table only has one row, stating that it's a engineer. So one engineer from this connects to all engineers in this table. So that's how we have to think. So now if you go to the report view, now still our data, this chart is not sorted, right? Just because you link it, it's not going to sort. So the next step is you have to go to data view of the sorting table. And then you go here and then you sort it by column number. You have to go to the data view and then go to sort by column number, right? Now, instead of this resource category, I'm going to use this category, right? Now it's sorted. Intern, trainee, associate engineer, right? Now Power BI knows that I want it to be sorted in this table way. So it's going to sort it like this. If you want to show this much more clearly, you can just remove the blanks and missing values. It's like this, right? So this is exactly the one that I created in this one, right? Now this goes from intern to senior principal architect on top. So if you want it like that, then you can go to sort axis and using job category like this, right? So I put different colors for this visual because I thought like this is senior engineer, and associate engineer, they are in one band. then leads, associate lead and senior lead are in another band. Like that, I just put different colors. So you can always use color coding to view it. Then this is a bar with pie chart. So I hope that pyramid or funnel chart is very clear. The next one is the bar with pie chart. So now this one, I just thought of adding it because this chart, bar of pie. So this one, what I want to show is, now I have 455 software engineers in this company, right? Then out of this 455, I want to see how many are interns, how many are internal employees, and how many are outsourced employees. So in this case, this kind of a chart is good. So if you want to see the breakdown of the top products, so top categories, right? Or who are the customers giving the top profit. So something like that, like to break down the most important part of your date, then you can use this chart. So that's all from the dashboarding part. Then I want to add some like practices that we use in creating that dashboards. So most of the issues that arise are when you are trying to like view a data set in Excel. It could be over 10 GB, right? So you might not be able to load this data set into your Power BI also. Sometimes you might not be able to load the entire data set even in your laptop. So in that case, you have this option called Power BI Premium. Now this is Power BI desktop version. You can pay and get the Power BI Premium license, right? But that is one option. The other option is if you don't want to pay and get the license, then you can always try limiting the data set and checking the data rights. Like if the data set has like so many data rights, like date and time and decimal numbers, these are very heavy data. So when you are trying to get it to Power BI, it could be like lag. It could lag a little bit. So it's better to always like include only the most important columns. Now, if I show my data set, so these are mostly, now if you see the HR data set, this is a very like small data set. So if you only want certain like number of columns in your data set, then you can get that. And the other problem is when you are getting new data and you are updating the Power BI, let's say 1 or 2 times, you can get some errors. So one is the data type is not correct, that is one. Or else you just have to go to Power Query. You should go to this edit query and check if there are any errors. So now in this data set, there are no errors. So if there are any errors, it is shown in this area, right? Errors in your data set. Or they're usually grouped, right, into these, this data set has these many errors like that. Then what you can do is, this is like the basic thing that you should do. You have to keep only the top rows, right? Because Power BI thinks you are trying to load a huge data set and like it's not going to let you do that easily. So you can just put like, I want to view like first 500,000, 50,000 rows. Then Power BI knows that you are just trying to visualize your data. Then you can remove errors or remove any blank rows, remove duplicates. But removing duplicates, again, you have to be very careful. There can be important data. coming with duplicates, and I think, yeah, these are the best practices you can just try when you're loading the dataset. And the other thing is, just one more thing. Now, if you are like continuously connecting data and you are deleting that dataset and again connecting the dataset, but Power BI won't delete it in your Power Query. It's only deleted in the visualization part. The Power Query, this dataset is saved. The history is there. So you have to, when you are deleting a dataset, check again in your Power Query whether the dataset is deleted properly. Like error giving dataset is deleted properly. So then only you can view your data properly. I think that would be the end of my presentation.